All right, cats and kittens, grab your mittens and away we go. This is a completely new series. I will be talking about the greatest films of all time again, but I'm going to start doing a little bit more of the more obvious ones, the ones that are in the top 100. I just wanted to call out a couple of really good ones that were not, that were universally overlooked. I hate that about art, is that you can have really good art and people do not recognize it in the time period. That is one of my least favorite things about art. So that's why I did that. And now we have moved on to what are called the midnight movies. Now I have a name for this, but it is on my Facebook page, so I will have to look it up here in a second, and I will. But we're going to move into the midnight movies now.
What these are movies that are A, not appropriate for children. Okay? Unless you really just like giving children nightmares. If you do, that's totally cool. I'm fine with that. It's building their character, at least. There's nothing like telling them that society is really weird from the get-go and that they can't trust a lot of things. Okay? We're going to be covering a lot of different movies in this. Okay? But I'm going to tie in. This is like a crossover. So this is like a crossover, even though it will be in the Midnight Movie section. Because this movie is about in the 300s, mid to late 300s of best movies of all time, maybe even further down. That I'm not 100% for sure. But this is a damn good movie. Okay? But it's also a B-movie classic. Or whatever you want to call it. Midnight movie. I think it's a more proper term for it. Okay? Because B-movie indicates that it's a lower grade film, which this is not in any way, shape, or form. Just because you shoot on a lower grade camera or whatever does not mean that you have anything less to say. All right, that's just from the heart, okay? Because that's just how I roll. This one's name is Freeway. Wow, look at all that glare. Good Lord, it's like I got lights on in here or something. Good God. Now, this is Freeway, okay? This is Freeway. There are many like it, but this one is mine. This is the back of the box. It's fantastic. Okay, yeah, we all got the picture now. It's a good box. Okay, so what we're looking at here is one of the all-time greats of the B movies, and there are other B movies that are in the top 100s. Okay, the top movies of all time. Because certainly Toxic Avenger is a B movie or midnight movie, whatever you want to call it. I do tend to go with the more historical names for things because I do believe that that's the proper name for them. That's what they were called in their time period, and we should honor that to a certain degree. So, there you go. Now, this one stars Kiefer Sutherland, who is the son of Donald Sutherland, who is the son of Northern Sutherland, okay, which they were in the north and they moved south, so, that guy changed his name. Okay, so, and we got Reese Witherspoon, who is by far and away one of the greatest actresses of all time. If you don't believe that, you can go ahead and turn this off because I'm going to be talking about her at length. If you're like, well, she's like okay, but did you see that Legally Blonde movie? Yeah, okay, well, she needs to get paid too, and she needs to be on the spotlight. She's an actress, okay? I don't know if she's ever directed anything. That I would have to check, and if she has, I'm sure it's fantastic, just like her acting ability. She would be a great actor-director. That's for sure, because she knows how to get performances out of people. She's been doing it for her whole life. She's been doing it from the beginning. Every day. That's what I said. So, in Freeway, this is a retelling of the classic story of Little Red Riding Hood. Okay? Whew. I want to cover a lot of ground, and I don't have a lot of time here. Okay, so, now listen to me. This is something that goes on in creative arts all the time. Okay? You have an idea that you want to manipulate. Okay, so you start off with a basic premise. What happens if the Three Little Pigs was something completely different? What if instead of the three little pigs, it was the three little cows? And not only cows, they're in space. Okay, so now you have the three little pigs in space. Now, instead of building houses, what are they building? Commercial real estate. We all know that this is the time period for that. Small business America and such. All right, thumbs up. All right, let's go. So that's the way that goes. Okay, and that's how you turn what is originally a kind of archetype story. I would call Three Little Pigs an archetype story for preparedness to reach adulthood, as most of those pre-Victorian kind of folk tale-ish stories are, fables, if you will. They're all about the fact that life is miserable and you have to prepare for it. So we're going to teach you here in this little story. But we're going to put some animals in it. Okay. Now, Reese, again, I cannot stress this enough, how great she is. How great, absolutely great she is. In everything that she does. This is an actress that is on par with any of the great actresses of all time, whether it be Katharine Hepburn, Betty Davis, let's see, well, who else would you consider? I guess, what's that woman's name? The new one. Well, I mean, there's obviously the girl in $1 Million Baby, Hilary Swank. And then there's, she starts with an M, I just can't remember it. It's like, oh, God. I don't know. She's in like a million movies. She was in The River Wild, which is the one I like of hers. The other ones, they're okay. She's okay as an actress. I do like her and respect her, and she has a good craft, and she does a lot of things that are intrinsically valuable to me as watching an actor act, or an actress. I don't care what you call it. You can call them actors, you can call them actresses. I'm equal opportunity caller of anything. So whatever you prefer to be named by, so shall that shall be if your nameth. That's my Shakespeare for the day. Okay, so back to Freeway. So why is this movie a good movie? That's what you all came here for. You want to know why these midnight movies are worth watching? Well, first of all, this is a slice of reality that you do not see very often in film, which is completely hopeless, but the protagonist is so optimistic and so street bound and so street smart that she just simply overlooks all the negative. It's a will to live that causes her to do this, and it's amazing. It's just Reese really hit it out of the park with this particular role. I think this arguably could be her best role. I'm not 100% sure because I have not seen all of her work, and certainly Wild was definitely good. That was a return to form for her. That was a fantastic movie in every single way, and it was a decent novel. I thought that Reese really gave it a lot of life, though, which she usually does with these things. But anyway, so you have Kiefer Sutherland, who plays a complete psychotic in this, which is great. I think that he's really good. He's either good at playing like the straight edge, like I'm gonna get you Jack Bauer, or I'm so completely psycho that I kind of make sense. But in this case, it was neither. Like he's just completely psycho, and you hate him from the moment you see him. You know that he's up to no good. You know that he's trying to take advantage of her. She's young. She's vulnerable. Her car's broke down on the freeway. So he's going to take advantage of her. Blah blah blah. But this movie is so funny in such a dark comedy sense. I mean, it's deeply funny. Like some of the stuff that just goes on in this movie. It's too much to name in one piece, but just hilarious, and in so many ways. It's also a very valuable film in the sense of following the sociology of the human, or in this case, the devoutly poor, who do not have a lot of hope, but continue to believe in hope despite all evidence to the contrary. I think that that's a good thing to preach. That there is a will to live that isn't everybody, no matter how bad it is. But regardless, I cannot stress enough why you should see this film. Okay? The top 100 ones, I obviously put ones in there that you should see, but most of them you probably have seen. But these are maybe some that you haven't seen, because they're midnight movies. These are ones that you have to really dig for. Okay? Consider these like the B-sides of a music album, where you're like, wow, that song is actually really, really good, and it showcases like that actors, like or actresses or directors or writers or whatever, prowess for being able to be good, you know. And you know, even Brooke Shields is in this. I forgot to mention that. Brooke Shields is in this, of all people, you know, and she plays a real scumbag, degenerate Barbie type. The characters are obviously archetypal in nature, so you don't root for too many people. Brittany Murphy, the late, great Brittany Murphy, makes an appearance in this movie. She plays a very small role, but it's integral to the story. Brittany was definitely overlooked by almost everybody on how smart and talented she was. Again, she could have been, in many ways, like a Reese Witherspoon, but I think it's because she was just so universally panned by people that she ended up like being just going the way of how she went, because that would have tore her up too much inside. I think just being empathetic for a moment, you know, as you should as a human being. But regardless, this is the highest caliber of filmmaking that you're going to find. Great writing, pretty decent direction. Okay, great acting from start to finish. Kiefer is great. He plays a real degenerate scumbag. You don't like him. Brooke Shields is great. She plays a real good Barbie type, a holier than thou, holy roller kind of person. You know, and that's it. As I can say before, Freeway. That's the name of it. It's fantastic. You will not be disappointed by watching this film. But again, as I stress in all these films, unless told differently in the Midnight Movie section, do not watch these with children. Okay, they are not appropriate in any way, shape, or form for children to be watching these. Okay, I'm going to give you just a couple of small things here before I do go, which is one, how I came up with finding out about this movie. Okay, it was shown to me by my cousins, Chris York and Walter York, many years ago when I was in fact young. Sorry, Mom and Dad, I hate to disappoint you, but we watched a lot of cool movies back then. So again, I don't do what I preach. Okay, look, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to sit here on a throne of righteousness and say that these things are not contradictory in nature. Okay, it's just that I personally believe that you should expose children to all art. With the exception of sexually explicit art, I think that that's something that has to come up much later. But you should be giving them knowledge about that topic so they don't go looking for it somewhere else where it will not be good for them. Okay? But regardless, that's just my values, so take them for what they're worth. And I don't want to get too much off on my values anyway, because who gives a shit? Regardless, I watched this movie. I forgot it for many years, and then I found it in a pawn shop. You can see right here in Old Rapid City, it's old Pawn for Us. You can come on down to the store. They're $1 for regular DVDs, $5 for $20 for Blu-rays. It's a fantastic deal. You know, and these are all going to be gone before too terrible long, because the making these type of discs is going to be a lost art. So get it while you can, okay? Because Vudu is very expensive, even to rent, okay? I don't know where the hell they get off charging $5 to rent a movie. Because I remember old Blockbuster could give you 5 movies for $5, okay? And not even Blockbuster, my old video store, TJ Videos, out there in old Bloomfield. All right, they give you 5 for $5. They even gave you Diamonds in the Rough, okay? Which may be another subgenre that I go into, which are just films that are not quite midnight movies, because they're not like weird, okay? Because that's kind of like the prerequisite to a midnight movie, is they have to be a little strange. They have to be on the strange side. They have to dive into something a little bit deep, okay, that people don't talk about, okay? Like, for instance, another movie that I'm going to be discussing, but I do have to get the actual movie for it, is a movie called okay? That's the name of it. It's literally like 18 S's, okay? It was a drive-in movie. I don't think they ever expected it to do well, but it was done really well. So once I get that movie, we will definitely talk about that one. And I'm not going to bring it up right now. But, you know, again, these are just weird films. Like, they just are so odd. It's like hearing a piece of music that's so out of place that it almost is endearing. Because you're like, wow, this is like so different than what I'm used to seeing on most things. And that's basically what this film is. So again, till then, Alvida's in, and I shall see you later.